Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our X39 podcast. I like to call it Wow Wednesday. We are here Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern. We have amazing stories, just like we will tonight. But we especially want to welcome brand new people on the podcast this evening. We know you were invited by someone who cares about you, and we're going to share an amazing product that no one else has. And it's about the stem cell activation patch. And we're going to spend about 30 minutes together, have some testimonials, talk about the science and how you can get your hands on this amazing product. David Schmidt is our CEO and inventor, a scientist. He's a visionary, folks, who saw the future of regenerative medicine over 10 years ago and developed these incredible products. So with that, I want to welcome each and every one of you on the line tonight. We're so happy to have you. And I'm going to introduce my co-host, Ms. Bhimi Cayce, who's a senior presidential director. Bhimi's been in the direct selling industry for about 30 years, but also in the natural health arena for 40 plus years. In fact, many years ago, she opened one-of-a-kind energy health clinic in California. So Bhimi, if you would, take it away and please introduce our very first testimonial.
Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you, Amy. Glad to be here on the new year. We're welcoming the first week together here. So we have a wonderful presentation for you guys tonight. And before we get started, I just want to say that we are not doctors or medical professionals, and the information that is discussed here is not meant to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. And none of the statements have been evaluated by the FDA. So if you are pregnant or nursing or taking medication, please consult with your physician first. So now, let us dive into our first testimonial. And I am very excited to be welcoming Noran Siegel to share with us. He's coming all the way from Hawaii on the big island of Hilo, where he's been for 34 years or so. And this guy absolutely does not look his age. He'll let you know how old he is, and he's going to share with us, especially I think for the men, some interesting results and changes that he's noticed while he's been on the X39. So welcome, Noran, and please talk to us about how you got involved, what drew you to the patch, and what your results have been. And you'll have to unmute because you got muted.
Did that do it?
Yes.
Yay! I'm not very tech savvy. I've never been called a testimonial before, but my name's Noren. I am be 73 in a few weeks. And I have a little story to tell you before I get to the patches. So back in 2017, October, I was riding my bike up a steep hill as fast and as hard as I could, trying to beat a friend of mine who was much younger, and he used to be an international bike racer. But I said, I can beat him, I can beat him. Well, that was stupid. I had a cardiac arrest, and the next thing I remember is being in an ambulance, coming to in the ambulance. And I was taken to the hospital and then air freighted to Honolulu to another hospital where they put 3 stents in an artery in my heart, the one they call the Widowmaker. But thankfully, the Widowmaker didn't get me because and it wasn't until later when I found this out, because another friend that was riding with me, he was about 20 seconds behind. And by the time he got to me, there were 5 people, I call them people, but 5 people, 2 EMTs, 2 nurse practitioners and a doctor. And this is on a Sunday morning on a really quiet road surrounding me. And he gets off his bike and he looks for my pulse and he can't find it. It says, my eyes are open and staring, my body's stiff. So he turns away and he calls 911. And they said, oh, just hold on for a second. We're gonna let you know how long before the ambulance gets there. And he turns back and he's got a priest in full guard standing next to him. So the priest asks what my name was and if it was okay to pray for me. And before he had a chance to say anything, the 911 comes back on the phone. He turns back to answer it. And they said the ambulance is a few minutes out, turns back, the priest is gone. So anyways, unfortunately, I didn't really get to experience my near-death experience. No white lights, no tunnels, no light flashing before my eyes. It was kind of a boring near-death experience for me anyways.
So fast forward.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, I know.
So it was because of that experience and with a little bit of mentoring from my friend, Dr. Val, that I became a health intuitive and a remote healer. So, you know, I was always health conscious. I always took care of myself, exercised, ate well. Even after the cardiac arrest, I always considered myself healthy. I worked with an anti-aging doctor, had labs done regularly, took lots of supplements, and daily, which I'll get back to in a few minutes. But the biggest issue I had was low testosterone. So I didn't really, I guess the biggest problem with the low testosterone was sex drive. And there were other things that I didn't know about that affected me from the low testosterone that I didn't know till after I started doing it. You know, like muscle mass, energy, those kind of things. So I was doing testosterone for several years, injecting myself once a week. And I always knew when it was time for another one. I just had that sense, time to take a shot. So, so my friend, Dr. Val, she'd been going on and on about the X39 patches for a long time. And finally she wore me down and I decided that I should try them. And within the first week of using the patches, I realized I hadn't taken a shot. And I didn't want one. And then in the second week, same thing. I didn't take a shot, didn't want one. And now 6 months into using the patches, still no shots. I keep wanting to try one just for ha-has, but I don't need it. So, you know, I feel fine. My energy is good. I have a sex drive, although I don't put it to much use.
But you're ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready when the time comes. So,
and then what, talk to us
I
a little bit, because I know you mentioned something about the second month that you started noticing.
I have to tell you one more thing first. I have to embarrass you a little bit first.
Oh, okay.
So the thing about using testosterone is your testicles shrink. And after years of having little boy balls, I'm now proud to report that I have man-sized testicles again.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a first in our testimonials, I have to tell
I
you.
thought it might be.
I
So
thought this was PG.
I didn't say anything bad.
I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
During the second and third month, I began to just feel a sense of well-being, I guess, joyfulness, peacefulness. The stress I carried in my face all the time was gone. So that was just like a really great thing. I'd be driving in my car and laughing and smiling, and it wasn't something that I did regularly. So in month 4, I started to, I think my eyes started improving. My vision started getting better. The clarity in my eyes was much better. The whites were clearer, the irises were clearer. My night driving got a little better. So that was kind of nice. The other thing that I started noticing was that my hair color started getting a little bit darker. The gray going away some. So not enough to fill in the spaces, but an improvement nevertheless. I'd find people just out of the blue telling me I look good, which was really nice. So the other really, really big thing that happened was, as I mentioned before, I was taking a lot of supplements, probably up to 25 a day. And, you know, being an intuitive, I would feel them energetically. Yes, take this one. No, yes, yes, yes. And in the last month, I find myself now taking only 4 or 5 supplements a day. And I keep wondering, what's wrong? I should need this. I should need this. And I feel it, and it's, nope, I don't need it. So that's kind of it for me for the X39s. I did start using the silent nights, and they've been really good for me as well. Sleeping good.
Well, this, you know, your results are really phenomenal because, you know, men have this problem, we know, as they're getting older, and your results are very prominent and demonstrative, and you are actually treating yourself for this. So to have this kind of switch over where, you know, you're not taking those shots anymore, you're feeling your virile, you know, vigor, and all the other results with your eyes and your body getting stronger, less supplements, and your vision better. And I know you're going for blood work soon, so we'll have you back to give us an update that's going to substantiate all that you've been telling us. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
For coming on, Noren. We appreciate you sharing with us.
Okay, well, thank you all very much. Thanks for listening to me.
Of course. And now I'd like to introduce Amy, who you've kind of already met, but she is a presidential director, and she is the owner of Holistic Health QI. And she has been in direct sales for over 30 years, very successful 6-figure earner. And she is all about health and wellness. So welcome, Amy, and let's have our next guest.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bhimi. I get the pleasure of introducing our next guest, and we're going to go now skip over to Arizona, and we're going to meet Miss Carrol McDonald. I had the pleasure of speaking with her earlier. Her story is incredible. So Carrol, are you on the line?
I am. Can you hear me?
Awesome. Yes, I can hear you and see you. So perfect. Thank you for joining us. Carrol, if you would, please share with the folks this evening what issues you were having prior to being introduced to the X39, how long you've been on it, and how you're doing today.
Okay. Well, first of all, I've been in holistic healing for about 35 years myself. So I had osteoporosis and was not willing to take the prescriptions that the doctors push on us. And looking at what they say themselves about the drugs, I just didn't want any part of it. But I've gone from 5'3" to 5 feet. So I obviously have osteoporosis. And my doctor told me that if ever I were to fall, I would break multiple bones in my body, and I would be absolutely miserable. So knowing that, I'm always very aware and try to be careful. But anyway, I got introduced to my husband had a stroke, and lifting his wheelchair in and out of my SUV caused me one day, about 2 years into that series of carrying the wheelchair, I had an incredible pain in my back. I could hardly even breathe. It was so bad. And so I got to the doctor, and they sent me to the hospital, and they came back to test for an MRI. And it came back that I had crushed 2 discs in my lower back. And the doctor offered not one good prospect. That he didn't say, well, in 3 months, Carrol will be able to operate and we'll put pig cartridge in your back and that part of your spine. Or he offered nothing but that I would be on painkillers the rest of my life, which was not something I wanted to hear. But I was so sore. When I came home, I could not figure out how to get into bed. I just could not lift my leg to get into bed. I couldn't flop on the bed and bring my legs up. And so I slept on the floor. I put a blanket down on the floor and brought my pillow down, and I was just in agony. When I listened to people tell their testimony, how they had between a 1 and a 10, their pain level was 18, and they've suffered with that for years, like we hear many, many nights. I don't know how they do it, because the pain just wears you out. So I was on the floor. I don't even know how many days. I'm guessing 3. I never thought I'd be giving a testimony, so I didn't keep track of these things. But anyway, a lady called me that I have known for years in the holistic business. And she said, how are you? She lives in Florida and I'm in Phoenix. And I said, oh, Judy, I am just in such pain. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to live. And she said, don't worry. I've just been introduced to something, and I will overnight it to you right away, and you'll be fine. So the next day, the doorbell rang, and it was FedEx with the patches. And I ripped open the package. I didn't look at the name of the company. She didn't say the name of the company. I didn't care what the name was. I just grabbed the sleeve and opened it. And she luckily said, put it right where you hurt. So that wasn't hard to figure out where on my spine I hurt. I put the X39 on, and I'm embarrassed to say I don't even remember how long it took for the pain to go away, but it was not very long. And I was able to walk. I was able to get back into bed, which was terrific. And soon I was able to get in my car and go about living my life. And so she told me, you could wear this for 12 hours and take it off at the end of 12 hours. And she called me, being a good friend, and said, okay, 12 hours is up, take the thing off. And so the pain was, when I went to lift it, was so intense. I said, Judy, I'm not going to take it off. You don't understand. Patch on, no pain. Patch off, excruciating pain. I'm not stupid. I'm leaving the patch on. And so she said, but you can't leave the patch on. This is a new product. You have to take it off in every 12 hours. Well, anyway, I care more about pain than I do directions. And so I left it on. And now that I've been been using the patches, I know that that wasn't the smartest thing to do, but it did solve the issue. And that was my biggest concern at the time. So anyway, I didn't even look for the name of the company. I didn't ask her the name of the product or the name of the company. And I don't know what I thought I was going to do when I ran out of patches, because there's no way I could ask her to send me 30 more patches as a gift when I hadn't been smart enough to even provide for what would I do, because they were wonderful when I had them on. But just magically, by the grace of Almighty God, when I took that last patch off, I have never had pain in that area again. Now, wow. I don't know how that could happen. Did the patch or the stem cells recreate new cartilage in my back? I mean, I just don't know, but I'm grateful is all I can tell you. I still didn't know the name. I went back to my normal life, and I told everyone who was just amazed that I was back doing things. I was in the car, I was living my normal life, and people would say, what did you do? And I'd say, well, my friend sent me these things. Well, what were they? I don't know. And so it's embarrassing to say I was that out of it. But then I went to a trade show with the product that I had been representing for about 5 years. And 2 booths away was, I thought, I didn't know what they were selling, but I thought she was giving away Bitcoin. She had so many people around her booth, I couldn't figure it out. Well, our booth wasn't busy because her booth was first and no one was even coming down the end of the aisle to us. So I said to my partner, I'm going to go down and see what she's selling. And when I walked down, I listened to her story and looked at the patches. And I came back to my friend and I said, hey, she has those patches that I put on my back that made me well. And was I smart enough to decide to get her card, find out the name of the company, order those patches in case I had anything else happen? I'm embarrassed to say no, I didn't experience it all. I did call that night to my friend that had sent me the patches and said, are you in that company? And she said, no, I use the product, but I'm not in the company. And why? And I said, well, because I went to this trade show today and this girl's booth was so busy. It was like they were giving away Bitcoin. I'd never seen anything like it. I've never seen any booth that had so many people clamoring to get there, and they would all walk away with a little gift bag of patches. But I didn't know that that's what they were walking away with. But anyway, so now several months go by, and my daughter, who is in this company also, called Peter, who's the leader of our team here, and said to him, what are you doing? What's new? What are you doing? And he said, well, I'm doing patches. And she said, what are patches? And he said, have you heard of LifeWave? She said, no. And so she said, what is it? And he said, well, the stem cell activation patches. And he started to tell her about it. And she said, that sounds like something maybe that my mom was using when her back was so sore. And now it's fine. Let me get her on the phone and see if that was it. So
Carrol, hold on one second.
Yeah.
So let me make sure that we understand. So your vertebrae that were crushed, the pain is gone completely.
Completely.
Okay. And you've been in the natural health space for many years.
Yes.
And people that you know around you, such as Peter and your daughter and other people have been in the natural health space. They're all using this product.
Right. My daughter wasn't at that time. And,
right, but
we didn't know that,
or they were interested.
Yeah, but we didn't know that Peter was using the product. So
Right.
my daughter called to say to Peter, just as a friend, what's going on with you? What are you doing nowadays? And he told her that he was using this product. And so then she said, well, let's call my mom and see if that's what she was using to have her back healed. And so anyway, he called, he said, what was the name of the company that whose product you were using? I said, I have no idea. I was in such need. I ripped open that UPS or the FedEx overnight bag. I didn't even try to see the name of the company. And he said, well, was it LifeWave? And I said, I don't know. I don't think the woman ever told me the name of the company. And so he said,
let me ask you this. How, well, I know when we spoke earlier, you said you have zero pain.
Right.
And now you're able to get in and out of the car.
Right.
You're also off of, and this is amazing to me, and people need to hear this. You are also off of your blood pressure medication.
Correct.
You've had high blood pressure for many years, and now you're off of that.
Correct.
And you are what, 70? What? How old? 78 years young?
78 years old, and I wake up every morning absolutely raring to go with absolutely no pains anywhere in my body, and this sense of well-being, like I can't wait to get out of the bed and talk to people to bring them relief, because I can't tell you how exciting it is to have someone that you've known who has been suffering tell you, because they use the patches, they're now out of pain. They have a sense of just pleasure. And particularly during COVID, it's been such a blessing because I live alone. And I look forward to being on the podcast every night because I feel like everyone's my family. I know a lot about them. I know their aches and pains and when they stopped. So I can't wait to go to Florida next week and meet all of you that I've only seen on the Zoom calls.
Well, awesome. I'll tell you what, you look amazing. I know people said you look younger, You have that sense of well-being, more energy, but the huge thing here, ladies and gentlemen, is she has no more pain. That does affect the quality of your life and your attitude and your mental health. But I want to personally thank you for coming on here and sharing your absolutely incredible story, Carrol. Thank you so much. And we'll check back in with you in about 90 days and see where you are. And I
Great.
know you're going to go out there and share this with everyone you know.
Right.
So, folks, with that, if you're new on the line, you're wondering, what the heck is this? How does this work? So, Bhimi, please share with everyone how this product works.
Okay, thank you. Great testimonials tonight, everyone. Love these stories. That's what makes this so exciting. And so what is this all about, everyone? This little thin wearable technology. It looks like a Band-Aid, right? It comes in what we call a sleeve. There's 30 patches, 1 month supply. It's non-transdermal. It's non-invasive. There are no ingredients. No ingredients. All that's in there are organic nanocrystals that are amino acids, salt, sugar, water, and they form this crystal lattice. And what that does is absorb and traps the infrared light from the body. And so when you apply the patch to the body, the crystals then reflect back and shine back a part of this infrared spectrum. These wavelengths start going into the body. And it actually sets up what we call a communication pathway. And this light is triggering biochemical changes in the cells. And let me just be very clear, the patches do not heal. The patches give the body the right communication so that it can heal. It's much like, when you're going out in the sun and your body's exposed to the sun and makes vitamin D. Well, that's what happens when the patch is applied. And these wavelengths actually elevate something that you may not have heard of, but it's called GHK copper peptide. And this is a master signaling molecule. It is a gene modulator. So what does that mean? It means that within 24 to 48 hours, the GHK copper peptide is resetting over 4,000 genes. It is also starting to repair the DNA. But most importantly, it's activating our body to create younger stem cells. And these are pluripotent stem cells. They're intelligent. They know exactly where to go, wherever there is dysfunction in the body. So this entire process is called photobiomodulation or phototherapy. It's a low-level light therapy. And what we suggest is that you wear it 12 hours on and 12 hours off, and drink plenty of water because this protocol needs water. The body is creating more energy. And we suggest a 90-day protocol, 3 months, because it takes about that time for the body to recreate the collagen. And what we have found is that 50% of the people feel something more immediately within the first month, and 50% of the people, it can take 2 to 3 months. That's why 90 days is the best route to go. And something that you might find very interesting is that the New England Journal of Medicine said that the #1 indicator of wellness is directly correlated to the number of stem cells in the bloodstream. Now, we call this whole technology age reversal, because by the time you're 35, you're losing about 50% of your ability to make stem cells, and also diminishes the GHK as well. And then by 60, what science is saying, it's about 80%. So both of these are diminishing around the same time. And when you start wearing the patch, all of a sudden the light switch is turned on and the body is starting to regenerate. That's why we call it age reversal. And that's why you hear so many multiple benefits, just like you heard tonight. So with that, and I know you probably have more questions. I'm going to turn it back over to Amy to talk about the company and how you can get your hands on this product.
Wow, thank you, Bhimi. Folks, David Schmidt, again, is the man behind this proprietary wearable health technology. No one else in the world has it but us. LifeWave is a 17-year-old established company. We are a global company in 81 countries with over 131 patents. So we are well established, we have credibility, we have all the science behind us. If you're looking at this for the very first time, the main thing is to get this product. There's two ways of doing it. One, you can become a preferred customer and get the product at wholesale, save money. We have a very generous preferred customer program. Or you could be like me and like Bhimi and get a wholesale account. When I saw this for the very first time, it made sense. So I locked arms with the company, joined forces, and I'm saving money. And then there's an opportunity to make money. There's different wholesale packages. They start at $2.99 and go up to $15.99 with different products. The higher the package, the more money you save on the volume. So we have grown 10 times, folks, in 3 years when the stem cell activation patch came out. 10 times in 3 years. We are on target to do $300 million. Again, we are a global company, 81 countries, 130 patents on the latest and greatest in stem cell technology. So what we would love for you to do is get back to the person who got you on this call, get your questions answered. You could also go to startx39.com where you can see different studies, testimonials. We will be back here tomorrow night with Marcy and Dr. Stacy, 9 p.m. Eastern, same channel. And for those of you who are partners with us on the line, keep in mind, January 29th is our online NOVA conference. So look at that in the back office and get registered. And we'll see you on the 15th if you're in Sarasota. Folks, thank you so much. Be blessed. Have a great week.
Thank you, everyone.
Great call, great team.
Happy New Year.
Bye.